I got you.
Hey, Raushan.
Hi. Oh, there you go. That's better, mate.
Yeah.
How you doing?
How you
You
doing,
good?
bro? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Living the dream. How are you?
Yeah, that's what I like to hear, man. Living the dream for sure, bro.
That's, that's it.
Um, bro. Now, firstly, man, now thank you so much, man, for agreeing to come on the show. Yeah, it's we're making a comeback here, bro. We're on the podcast scene, and it's good to see and have a young brother come on the show, man, and wanting to chop it up. I think
100%, bro. I appreciate the invite. To be honest, I mean, like it was about 6 months ago. I was saying to one of the guys at the gym, it'd be nice to get on a podcast. And this is my first one. It's like it's good. Thank you for the opportunity, man.
Nah, man. You know what, bro? When I see someone from our race, bro, our culture, yeah, do it up, bro, like you're doing right now, is so gratifying for me, and I think gratifying for a lot of British Asian fans and fighters to see someone like you doing what they only dreamed they could be doing, bro. Yeah, do you get me? So I think it's I think for that, man, you know what, I should thank you a lot, man. So I
Yeah, man.
think,
It's
bro,
yeah,
now
yeah.
go,
Sorry,
bro.
go. Yeah, it's obviously like the more like more recently, more mainly this year, I've had people telling me and that like the things I'm doing is inspiring them to start training, or they then bring their kids to start training, and it's good, man. It's great because obviously in the grand scheme of things, I'm so small in the sport of MMA because then you think about pros, you think about the UFC. I'm looking up to all
Yeah,
these guys. But you don't realize each and every day that there's always someone who's looking at you thinking, "Oh, I wish I could be like that guy." Do you know what I mean? It's like a chain that goes down. So I think it's important to every time I'm training or I'm fighting, that's in the back of my mind. Like I need to do well for the people who believe in me as well.
mm. No, definitely, man. And I think, every time I see you fight, bro, because I've seen you fight now a couple of times, and your family's always there supporting you, man. And you've always got the cheering section going on. I love that, bro, because that's what it's all about. It's all about having that support and knowing that your family's there to support you to do whatever it is you want to do, man.
100%.
So, bro, I think because of the heat on the street that you've got right now, man, in the scene of Ami MMA right now, how did it all start though for you, bro? In MMA and having the ambition to go and fight.
Yeah. So for me, basically, um, I always had this thing of wanting to be the best at something. At anything,
Yeah.
whatever I was doing, I wanted to be the best. And I never knew what it was going to be, but I always knew I was going to go far and I was going to succeed. But I just never quite knew what it was. And then obviously around when like Conor McGregor got big and he was making his rise, I'm seeing this guy who's just
Yeah.
making a lot of noise online. He's talking a lot of shit. He's knocking people out, and I just got really obsessed with it, watching and then playing the video game. But never did I think, oh, I'm gonna do that. I just thought, oh, this is really cool. I like watching these
Mm,
guys fight. And then it was
mm,
around COVID time, just as I was turning 16. Sorry, I was 16. I was going on 17. I was looking for just a boxing gym, to be honest, because boxing's,
yeah.
especially you going back now like 4 or 5 years, boxing was and still is a bit bigger than MMA.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for boxing gyms, and no one's taking me because they're all saying, no, it's COVID. We're not taking new members. Even when we reopen, we're
Mm,
just sticking with our guys. And I found a little
mm,
MMA gym, Leeds Cage. It and that was it. I just started training and I fell in love with it. And the first day that I ever spoke to one of my training partners, who's still today, he's my longest training partner. He's helped me so much.
yeah.
We're helping each other. Riley Middleton. The first day I ever saw him, we had a conversation. He said, "Why are you training? Why do you want to be here?" And I looked him just in the face, like no joke about it at all. I fully believed it. I said, I want to be a two weight class UFC world champion. And he kind of looked at me as if to be like, does he mean that? And I just, that's fully what I meant. And that was fully my goal, is just to be the best. There's no point in doing anything like fighting or boxing or anything that requires so much, that demands so much from your body, your time, the sacrifices, if I'm not trying to be the best. Um, so that's kind of how it started. And it just, at the start, it was kind of, I was kidding myself, I was a bit delusional, like telling myself, oh, you can do it, without any real reason or proof that I could. But I mean, 2 years later from my debut, 9 fights in, 8 wins, it's looking
Yeah.
more and more realistic every single day. And I truly believe that that's where I'm headed, to the very top.
Man, I think you know what? I think you hit the nail on the head there, man. I think when you do something like MMA or any combat sport that demands so much from you, there's that certain commitment and that certain dedication that you need to follow it through. So no, man, you know what? I think I respect that. I respect that 100%, bro, wholeheartedly. Um, bro, I think as an amateur right now, what has that done for you, bro, in terms of building your understanding of the sport more in every fight you have, and of course building up your confidence as an amateur and wanting to go into professional.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's it's just the hard work that I put in. The guys that I'm training with, I know how good they are. The coaches I'm with, I know how good they are. Um, and every challenge, every obstacle that gets put in my way, don't get me wrong, it's tough and it's never easy. I mean, you see my fight on the weekend, it wasn't easy for those first couple rounds. Um,
Yeah.
I'm I'm so fresh to the game. Like I only started training 4 years ago. A lot of the guys I'm
Mm,
fighting have been training for a decade plus. Some of them be been
mm,
made the debut a decade ago. Um, I'm so fresh to the game, but every obstacle that puts in my way, I'm arrogant enough to believe that I'm the best and I can beat everyone, but I'm also humble enough to know that I need to grind every single day. Like the rent is due every day. If I just stopped training today, I'd lose my next fight.
mm.
Simple as that. If I
100
stopped, if I
100%.
lost that hunger and the work ethic, I would lose. You know what I mean? I can't get complacent. And I think that's the reason why I'm doing so well, because to be honest, every single time I get scheduled for a fight, there's that
Mm.
part in my mind like, oh, am I good enough? Do you know, that little bit of an imposter syndrome? It's like, oh, is this
Yeah,
going to be the guy to beat me?
yeah, yeah.
I watch Lewis Hamilton's fights. I see 6-1. He's finishing everyone. His one loss was a split decision, and I'm like, damn, this guy might be better than me. This guy might be the one to beat me, and that pushes me to just work harder and harder and harder. And truly, I leave no stone unturned. Every time I step into
No,
that
that's
cage, there's no worry on my mind. It's like I'm stepping in so calm, so relaxed, because I know
mm,
ultimately I've done everything I can do. And if this guy is better than me, he'll beat me. So what? You know what I mean? I did everything I could do. It's not in my control what happens in the fight. It's just in my control. Everything I do leading up, going to sleep on time, training,
mm.
eating right, doing all these things. And I'll just carry that throughout, not just my career, but my life. And, that's why whatever I set my targets on, I'm going to achieve it.
No, I think, bro, I think that's something that I think everyone should strive to build themselves off is doing things wholeheartedly and doing things with that commitment and with that hard work. I think what I see now in the more in professional ranks is because guys know that they're gonna get paid for this and they're gonna get paid for that. Their work ethic goes down a lot, and then you sort of do it just for the shamefaced payday. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I think if you carry that through and carry this attitude that you have now through into the rest of your career, and like you said, throughout your life, it's something that's going to benefit you more than anything else, bro. And um, no, and I think I respect that. so much because I think it's something that not many people have nowadays in terms of mentality. Um,
100%. And I think that it almost makes it easier because you look at the competition. And for me, the competition are guys in the sport, like under really the age of 25. I'm only 20 years old. And I look at the
mm.
way that some of these forget about like people who are in fighting, because I could go on about them all day. They've got no going on. They work all week just to then blow it on drugs and alcohol on the weekend and then just repeat it.
Exactly. Yeah,
But those guys
exactly.
are not my competition. My competition is the guys who are trying to do the same thing as me, but it's a very few. There's a very few amount of people who truly just show up every single day to get better that day. Even I've known
Yeah.
plenty of guys who, good friends of mine who are great fighters. They're amazing fighters. And I look at them and I think if I had your natural athleticism or technical ability, I'd be
Yeah.
smashing everybody at pro right now, this
Mm.
second. But then they're going to bed at like 3 a.m. or they're smoking weed or they're drinking and they're
Yeah.
not eating right. They're skipping sessions just for no reason. And I think that as well, it's, in my opinion, the bare minimum as a fighter is to eat right, sleep right, don't do any
Mm.
drugs, don't drink any alcohol, um,
Mm.
and train your ass off at least 10 sessions a week, minimum twice
Yeah.
a day, Monday to Friday. But
Mm.
so many people just think that's an amazing thing that they're doing. So many people can't even meet the in my opinion, the basic requirements of being a good amateur fighter. So me doing all the extra stuff, and obviously the other guys who do the extra stuff, I'm not the only guy doing that. We're just
Mm.
gonna have such an easier path to the top because you're coming
No,
across guys who know that they skipped their running last week. They know that they didn't
no,
go to bed on time. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, man. And I think it's shown in your performances. I think all that work that you put in building up to the fight, it shows at the end, right? It shows when you
100%.
get your hand raised and they don't, who's done the work put in and who hasn't. And I wanted to speak about your last fight because that kind of got you viral, bro. In terms of your speech or your interview on the mic afterwards, where you straight came out and said, "Bro, look here, I'm the number one amateur in this country right now." And there's one guy, bro, who had beef with you on that, and that's Qudrat, bro. And he was, and I looked at his Instagram because I never seen him before, and he goes, and he seemed to have like a real beef with you, bro. And I was like, is that a fight that you want to take, and like what's the beef in there, bro, with Kudrat?
So with Quadrat, so the first time that I'd heard about this guy was around February at the start of this year. I was in Thailand. I got offered a fight. I didn't really care what the name was. I didn't care who it was. I had a look. I
Mm.
thought, yeah, cool, I'll fight him. As I do, you get the offer. My coach says, we've got this guy. His record's this. Here's his fights. Had a look at a few fights, and yeah, I was happy to fight him. We got scheduled. Poster went out. We were scheduled to fight April 12th, I believe it was.
Mm.
He pulled out 3 weeks before from a cut. And that's a very long time till the fight for a cut to heal. 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and we were scheduled to fight at flyweight. That was the last time I actually made flyweight. Um, and instead, Akeem Batty stepped in. 3 weeks' notice, we fought. I won, and then Quadrat on that night that I won commented on my Instagram saying, "Keep the belt warm for me." And I said,
Yeah,
and I
it's
replied, I said to him, I was like, "Bro, you pulled out of this fight for this day. I've made weight, fought on this day, and won. Like, get to the back of the line." You know what I mean?
exactly. No,
And
exactly, bro. And I
I
think,
fought again like multiple times since then. I've been ready to fight, and there's been no talk of me fighting Qudrat. There's been no talk from my side,
Yeah.
no talk from his side. He's had a
Yeah.
great year. Fair play to him. I've had a great year. We've gone off, done our own things, been fighting. And
But
then
there's a lot of bro.
and then he comments 6 months later from when we should have fought that he pulled out of. He comments after I've already announced I missed flyweight by a pound. I couldn't
Mm,
make the weight. I announced I'm going
mm,
to bantamweight. I said I'm going IMAF, then pro. And now he calls for a
mm.
fight in December at 59 kilos. And the reason why I replied in the way that I did was he's waited all this time. He knows I'm not fighting anyone this year, him
Mm,
or anyone else. I'm not fighting again this year. And that's when he's taken the chance to call for a fight to make it seem like I don't want to fight. I've
mm.
accepted to fight everyone who's been put in front of me this year. Some of those
Yeah.
fights have not materialized for different reasons. Um, I was supposed to fight Qudrat, he got cut. In May,
Mm,
I was supposed to fight Imran Hassan. He got staff, not
yeah.
his fault. He pulled out.
Yeah.
Fought Naeem Hawk on 3 days' notice for 5 rounds.
Yeah, I
And
saw it.
then I was ready to fight in August and defend my Almighty belt. And we
Mm,
contacted every single gym in the country with a flyweight in the top 50. Not a
mm.
single one of them said yes. We can go back and show you all the messages from the IMA account.
That's
No one wanted
unbelievable.
that fight August 2nd. So I was on weight, ready to fight. And a week before, we still had no opponent after an 8-week camp. And I called it there. I said, okay, I'm not fighting. Then September 20th, I wanted to fight Tyler Derbyshire because he called for a fight.
Mm,
Again, Tyler's one
mm.
of the best amateurs in the country. That would have been a really good fight. But he fractured his hand. So that didn't happen because he fractured his hand. And then I fought Lewis Hamilton. And at the time that
Yeah.
I fought Lewis Hamilton, the rankings were as follows. I was number 3. He was number 4. These are not my rankings. These are the rankings that are out there
Yeah.
for everyone to see.
Yeah.
And the two guys above us, Bethan Hall and Shahadot Chowdhury, are both
Yeah.
publicly already announced that their next fight is going to be pro. So the two guys
Mm,
above me currently are pro in my mind because they've said they're not fighting amateur anymore.
yeah.
And if I'm number 3 and the 1 and 2 are pro, then that just makes me number 1. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And yeah, Qudrat, like he's being very clever at spinning this narrative and he's had excellent timing to make it seem like I don't want to fight him. Like, you know what I mean? I've been back to back camp after camp
mhm,
after camp, killing myself to try and make flyweight. Announced I'm
mm.
going bantamweight, and now he wants to fight. And the thing
Dude.
is,
Yeah.
as well, I made it very, very clear October 25th was my last fight. I was offered
Mm,
2 fights on FCC for
yeah.
either, it was my choice. The promoter said, choose what you want. You can either have the flyweight title fight or the bantamweight title fight. I said no to both because 3 weeks ago, before my fight, I had a bad injury on my ankle. And I
Mm,
spent the last 3 weeks, any footage you see, it like I didn't put it out. And I didn't want putting pictures out, I want putting footage out
yeah.
because all my training for the last 3 weeks of my camp, I couldn't grapple because my ankle was injured, and I had to just
Yeah.
train with basically 1 foot for the last 3 weeks. I worked with a physio, and the physio basically just helped me get healthy for the fight.
Mm,
But he said after the fight, we need 4 to 6 weeks of rehab for your ankle to
yeah.
be 100%. So
Damn.
my body's not in a position to fight anyone this year. I had to turn down the FCC title shot across 2 weight classes, and that's
That's
like the best
huge.
belt. That is the most prestigious belt at amateur. Like I'd love that belt,
That is huge.
uh,
That is huge.
and I had to turn that down. So why would I fight Qudrat at the same time? You know what I mean?
Right,
It's
right.
not about
Exactly.
wanting to fight him or not. It's about following my plan. It's served me well so far. Everything I've said I'm gonna do, I've done it. And the
Mm,
next thing for me is I'm off Euros in February, and I'm gonna win
yeah.
gold at those and go pro.
Woo.
Simple as that.
bro. The IMF. I think. Look, I think if you don't do, I think the FCC will come knocking at the door, definitely, bro. Because I think right now that that roster that they have at amateur right now, G, is one of
Yeah, it's
the, if
crazy.
not the, it is
Yeah,
the who's who. It is the who's who, bro, on the way to the UFC or even streaming, and it streams live on Fight Pass, so you'll get that those eyes on you, man. And but I think if that, I think that will come for you definitely, bro. I think then the IMFs are, that's a World Cup different league fight. That's a different league tournament right there, man. Are you? How do you feel going into something like that, bro? And do you think that, competing against the best, not only in Europe but against around the world, man? How's that? How do you feel going into something as big as IMFs, bro?
it's a nervy, it's a scary thing, going in, like you say, you're going against the best guys in the world. You got to fight 5 times in 5 days if you want to win gold. Um,
Yeah.
and I love that. You know what I mean? I love that challenge. I love that fear. That's what's bringing the best out of me. I could just stay on the amateur scene, fight on local shows, and just fight nobodies, go pro, do the same thing. I just beat everyone up. But that's
Mm,
not going to get me where I want to be. I'm taking the hard fights now for a reason. And yeah, like if even if I was to go out there and lose straight away to a really good guy, that's
mm,
so valuable because that's just data that we can collect and improve on, and it's all
yeah.
before I go pro. Like now is the perfect time. I feel like I've fought a lot of good regional guys from the UK. I've had 9 MMA fights now, and I think yeah, these last few on the European stage,
Mm,
perfect prep for pro. Um, I know a lot of guys cut a lot of weight like every single day, which is crazy to me because um, obviously you've got to weigh in every morning for IMF, and I'm
yeah.
walking around at like 66, 67 kilo. There's
Jeez.
no way. There's no way that I've been fighting flyweight for the last 9 fights, but there's no way that I could even make bantamweight 5 days in a row. It's impossible. I can't cut
No.
5 kilo every day for 5 days. It's just never happening. So most
Yeah.
likely I will be doing the IMAF at featherweight, as long as obviously the England team allow me to do that because I know we've obviously got loads of good guys in every weight class, but that's
Yeah.
the weight class I'd like to do the IMAF at 66 kilo.
Yeah.
And then yeah, and then pro after that.
Man, I think when you go from in every fight, bro, stylistically, do you look to always implement something new in your fights every time you fight, or do you sort of go back and stick to your strengths when you're in a fight, bro? Or do you look to do something new each fight?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I know a lot of people would give different answers to that. For me, obviously, I'll study the guy a little bit, just a little bit, and because if he's a really good wrestler, we need to be prepared for that. If he's a really good striker, we need to be prepared for that.
Mm,
But
yeah,
ultimately, I anyone who I fight, I'm gonna go and do more or less the same thing.
yeah.
Because I believe that my A game is just gonna beat your A game. Like you might be a
Oh,
really
true.
good
Yeah.
wrestler, you might be
Mm,
an amazing wrestler, but I believe that my A game will just beat your wrestling game. You might be a
yeah,
really good jiu-jitsu guy. I'm not going to be scared of going to the ground with you because I'm confident that my jiu-jitsu is better than yours. You might be a really good boxer. I'll still put the pressure on and stand in the center of the cage with you because,
yeah.
like I said, it's my A game versus your A game, and I believe
Mm,
that my A game is going to come out on top.
yeah. I think, bro, what I see from you is that and what I've seen from each fight that I watch on you is you're very well rounded. I think your ground game is probably one of the best I see on the amateur scene because I think when you explode and you put the pressure on, you have the size to, and your size sort of dictates that pace, and that's why I enjoy watching you, bro. Is because you don't go in there and like throw and hope. Yeah, you try and like calm it down as much as possible and then turn it on in the later rounds. Um, which is fantastic to see. And I think you're right, bro. I think when you study your opponent and you see how far or what your opponent's strengths are, you go and adjust your game to that. Um, so no, I think that's brilliant, bro. And I've seen it in your performances going forward that whatever the fighter's style is, you're gonna go in there and match that and match that straight up. Um, but I
100%.
think I think I think right now, man, you know what? There's big things coming for you, bro. And wherever you go from here, you go to the IMFs and then to the FCC. But I think that would be a huge step knocking on the door for you, man. And um, I think right now, you know what? You're living it. You're not fighting for the rest of the year, and there's no better way to end the year for you, man. Um, so no, for that, I thank you, bro, and I thank you for coming through and coming on the MMA Reloaded Real Talk podcast,
Yeah,
bro. Yeah, and,
yeah, man, I
it's what
appreciate
we
you having
do,
me.
man.
Like I say,
That's
first
what we
podcast
do, man.
I've been on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. No, thank you so much, bro. And for the fans, yeah, if you just want to spit out your Instagram handle, yeah,
Yeah, so
for everyone to give you a follow, man.
it's Sandhu 61 kg. So SANDHU 61 kg.
Man, you know what, bro? Yeah, if if there's anyone to click that follow button on for button on, folks, yeah, Raushan Sandhu is right there, bro. Yeah, thank you so much, my brother.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, have a good evening, man.
You too, mate. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you.